about to get started, so grab a seat if you haven't found one already. Nice turnout. There's a lot of things that you could have been doing tonight, and I appreciate you coming out here. There's a couple of concerts, DNC going on tonight, so that you're here, that means a lot. I'm Rahun Williams. I'm your councilman for the 3rd Ward. Before we get started, I just want to ask a couple of questions here. If you found out about this meeting from me announcing it during the town council meetings, if you could raise your hand. If you found out about this meeting from me announcing it at the town council meeting, and if you found out about the meeting from the town website, raise your hand. Okay. If you found out about the meeting from the email that went out today, raise your hand. All right, so just trying to figure out what's the most effective way to communicate to folks.
Social media. Yeah, social media. Yep. I found out 4 ways.
Okay, all right, good. All right. Excellent. And word of mouth. All right, great. So what we're going to do tonight, just to manage everyone's expectations, the library director was gracious enough to let us stay here a little bit late. So we're going to have this room here for about 2 hours from 6:30 to 8:30, and what we hope to accomplish in this time, we're going to have 3 presenters up here. Everybody saw kind of the agenda, and if you have any comments or questions, we're going to take some brief ones, and then after the presentations, then I'm going to open it up for just general questions that you may have about town council stuff or things that have been bothering you and things of that nature. And if we go past 8:30, which we won't, I will stay outside the library a little bit and talk to you, or you can email me afterwards. Sound good? Yep. Great. So with that said, what we're going to do is we're going to start our presentation. Norma? Oh, sorry. No coffee today, by the way, for me. So there you go.
Thank you. Lisa, are you going to click them? Or is it clicking? Oh, okay. Awesome.
Do you need a mic?
This one? Okay, gotcha. Thank you so much. Okay, can everybody hear me, or should I mic? No. Mic? Mic now, mic? Mic.
Yeah, use this one.
All right, good evening, everyone. I am Norma Tassi, and I'm a township employee. I am the Director of Administration for the township. But tonight, I'm with you in this capacity as a member of the Vision Zero Task Force. The Vision Zero Task Force, how many have heard of the Vision Zero Task Force? Okay, so there was some concerted organizing in 2023 to make the Vision Zero Task Force a reality. And the meaning of that is to affect driver behavior, to affect pedestrian behavior, and to have road and street designs that are conducive to both travel and safety. So I'm going to give you a little update and answer any questions I'm able to. All right, and I'm just looking out to see if any of the Vision Zero, just so you know, is a public-private partnership, and it's made up of both township employees and active members in the community. These are the goals and vision of the Vision Zero Task Force: for every person to travel safely each day, and acknowledging that 0 is the only acceptable number of traffic-related death or injury. So we worked from a systems approach, not just drivers, not just pedestrians, not just road design. So kind of bringing all 3 of those things to bear in each of the things that we think about. Montclair isn't new. The Vision Zero Task Force isn't the first step that Montclair has taken to get to a place where people feel comfortable using the roads in other ways than cars. So in 2012, beginning back in Mayor Freed's tenure, which was the 2008 timeframe, and I believe Renee Baskerville, our now mayor, was part of that council, they adopted in New Jersey's first complete streets policy. And that influences road design to, again, prioritize more than just drivers. Following the adoption of the first New Jersey Complete Streets policy, we did, in 2009, I don't know why, I thought I put it on the slide. In 2009, there was a lot of grant money, a lot of energy towards Safe Routes to School, which is a program through also a partnership with Rutgers that helps school communities develop safe routes for walking and biking to school. And each school, even currently, if you ask, has a travel plan. So it tells you how to walk and bike to school, to avoid the busier streets, and where crossing guards are. And I'm going to just reference my notes here. The DCS road program is the Department of Community Services on an annual basis maintains our roads. And our roads, having roads in good repair, is one of the most important things that we can do for all road users, right? It makes it easier for you to bike, it makes it easier for you to walk, and it makes it easier for drivers to drive. The slide in front of you shows what the DCS has planned for 2024, and I don't have what's completed and what's not. Curbing is the changing from the poured concrete to the Belgian block. And the thought with the Belgian block is that it is less costly to maintain. And so that's why the town has converted most of our streets from the poured concrete to the Belgian blocking. The milling and paving is just what it is, just what it sounds like, taking up the road and resurfacing it. You'll see that the first 3 milling and paving go with the curbing. So they like to do both of those together. And it tells you on the slide the street and the boundaries of that street that is going to be both blocked and then milled and paved. And I'm going to take just a second to tell you a couple things about the road program, because I believe in some of the communication that Councillor Williams and I had, he did ask for some information on the roads. So this is just a little bit about how our roads are maintained. The road program is handled through the Department of Community Services, and the head of that department is Austin Ashley, and he can be reached at extension 5700. The street division of the DCS has 6 maintenance workers and 1 special equipment operator. The special equipment operator does stuff like the street sweeper and also some of the painting of the lines, but not like a whole parking lot, but just like maybe that delineator by driveways, the more simple stuff. The in-house maintenance staff does stuff like fixing potholes, maintaining traffic signals, as well as maintaining the street signs. There's a large number of street signs that become in disrepair after an accident. So if a street sign is hit in a road accident, the inside staff will work to get that sign back up. Milling and paving is done in conjunction with curbing projects and on its own. The township uses a vendor sourced through the Morris County Co-op and awarded to the vendor through resolution. Decisions on road in need of milling and paving is done through our engineering using commonly used standards, and residents are allowed to call DCS if they're aware of roads in need of repair. Milling and paving is only done in fair weather and is also subject to budgetary constraints. So that's the that's the road program part of our presentation. And now back to Vision Zero. In the third ward, and as part of making the streets safer, one of the most, what is easy to install, cost-effective, and effective are the rectangular rapid flashing beacons. And those are the things that you push the button and then the cars stop. So by ordinance, the cars are to stop when the RRFB is flashing. Here is a map of where they're located. I know it's small. There's 3 of them in a row on Walnut Street. There's 3 in a row at the Church Street Circle. There's 1 by South Fullerton and Roosevelt, and there's 2 on Claremont. They work well. I didn't hear you?
Right in front of the library here.
Yes, Roosevelt, yes. So the decisions are made through traffic studies in terms of where to put them. And again, it's something that the community can suggest if they see a need for it.
To whom would we make a suggestion?
Again, that would be Austin Ashley at extension 5700.
DCS?
Yes, yes. So I wasn't able to get compiled police data, and that was just on a basis of time. In the fourth ward presentation, I was able to talk a little bit more specifically about the number of tickets given for the number of offenses. The number of tickets for each kind of offense. But what I can tell you is that, and we do have several police with us tonight who I'm sure can back me up on this. The police are out there enforcing. The police are out there trying to make an impression on driver behavior. The top 5 reasons that people get moving violations are on the screen: careless driving, speeding, unsafe driving, and stop sign violations. And I think that's one of the things that people complain about a lot is the rolling stop. And that's something that the Traffic Bureau is on the alert for. That's something that they work to reduce. And that's something that, believe me when I tell you, they hear the community in terms of the need for this type of enforcement. Recently, let me finish this thought. Recently, there is a grant given to the Traffic Bureau for the enforcement of walking, Walk Safe grant, I think it's called. And recently, they set up over in the South Willow area just to make sure that when people were in the crosswalk, that cars stopped. And there is special enforcement on that code, and they recently did that. So if I get invited back to Councillor Williams' next gathering, I'll try to bring that data for you in terms of what happened. Sir, can I answer?
Yeah, I just want to interject one thing, because with all due respect to the police, and I know you're stretched into this Montclair's large town, I've been living in this area, Union Street, Seymour Street, Plymouth, for the last 23 years. I don't think there's a day gone by where I haven't had a close call. Every single day, I see people going straight to the stop sign, the rolling stop sign. They don't adhere to the crosswalks. They don't adhere to the flashing signals. Some people do, but there's a lot of people that don't. And the only reason I'm making this point is because we're giving a shout out to the police and to the initiative, which I think is great. Okay, but I have yet, in 23 years, seen anyone have a ticket in front of me that has broken the traffic rule in Montclair. Not once.
Well, I definitely hear what you're saying. I definitely respect your input. Alls I could say is that the Vision Zero task force was born through the type of activism that you're talking about, bringing these concerns to council, and with the tools available, the municipality is definitely trying to make a difference. Sure, Maggie.
Um, One thing that I think adds to traffic, adds to accidents in Montclair, traffic accidents, is when cars are parked illegally, cars or trucks. They're parked too close to the corner, they're parked, let's say, in front of the Valley of Bloom, or they're parked in front of the, South Willow, that apartment. People come flying around the corner, and they come upon a parked car or a parked truck. So I think that has to be part of the equation when we're looking at careless driving, speeding, unsafe driving, stop sign violation. Who is parked where they're not supposed to be parked?
Right.
That's adding to that.
And at this point, the police are not enforcing the traffic laws. The parking bureau is in charge of that. In terms of their statistics and what their enforcement patterns are, the only thing that I could tell you is that I know they work 24/7. I don't have a sense of anything else, and parking, just as a resident myself and as an active member of the community, I know for a fact that parking is one of the things that people bring up all the time. I don't have, like in this deck of slides, I don't have any proper input or knowledge. I wish I did. Hi.
Oh, do you want me to wait till the end?
I only have a couple more slides, and then we'll entertain the questions. And then I don't want to overburden in terms of sharing time. So let's see what happens. Traffic studies. So I'm going to pull out my notes on these traffic studies. These were all done in 2022 and 2023, and these are where either the police, because of their knowledge of the streets, or because of people calling to complain, they check, like, okay, well, let's have a look at that. At 24 Hillside Avenue, 24 Hillside Avenue, and that is the corner of St. Luke's, from 9:21 to 9:30. 2023, so that's September 21st to September 30th. In 2023, 16,951 vehicles were analyzed with 331 enforceable violations. So that's considered something that's low risk. That's a low risk intersection, and so no matter what people are observing, the data is what informs any next steps with regard to traffic calming and so forth. 208 Harrison Avenue is at Virginia Avenue. And from April 5th, 2022 to a week later on April 12th, 53,596 vehicles were analyzed with total enforceable violations just under 10,000 at 9,666. So that's considered medium. And the last one that I'll talk through, because this, this area is, Harrison Avenue is an area really in need of some traffic calming. 167 Park Street, which is at Chestnut Street, by the high school, very,
Sorry to interrupt. Are these Third Ward areas?
yes.
These are all Park Street by Chestnut is Third Ward? Yeah, why are we discussing areas?
I'm sorry, I asked, So that's my fault. I asked for third ward data. This is what I was given. So I'll skip to the next slide. I'll skip to the next slide. But the point that the traffic studies make is that the police are out there, they're using equipment there to make sure that when they get a complaint or when they observe something, that traffic calming decisions are made that are data-driven. Chrissy.
Can you just back up and explain again how the traffic studies are done or decided, or, so they get a phone call and then for 3 days, they just pick to review the area?
Yes. It's not one phone call. Like in terms of getting a traffic study in the offing, I think there has to be both crash data that says that crash or violation data that says it's necessary, or I guess of a repeated number of complaints about the intersection. And this is something that the township is providing, and I'm just bringing as a representative of Vision Zero, just trying to illustrate the fact that things to reduce serious injuries and death are being done now. God, this is a lot of questions.
You mentioned an area that watched over 50,000 cars, and you mentioned 10,000 offenses during that observation. That's wonderful. What was done as a solution to those offenses? Did they put police there? Did they adjust traffic signs? It's wonderful that they
Did it. Yes,
What
so
was done?
I think that informs patterns of enforcement. That's all I could really tell you.
patterns of enforcement,
Yes.
but you're not here to tell us what the solutions were to those violations.
I'm just, the main reason that I brought the traffic studies data is just to say that there's a systems approach, road behavior, police behavior, people behavior, that influences the outcome on our roads. So that's why I'm sharing this data.
Any one of us could have probably figured that out. The point is, what is being done by the township to alleviate these violations and these issues?
So I'm going to go on to some traffic calming stuff. I do also have some illustrations of what can be done. But the road to changing our future, our roads, it's not just like, oh, this happened, and then the next day we change course. Changing course in terms of road improvements, changing course in terms of police, the way the traffic bureau operates, it's like a very big ship getting it to turn. So
Just a quick question. One of the changes could be done, we went to the South Willow. The apartment building in 2 South Willow has a very wide sidewalk. And in the planning, that should have been reduced. There's constantly Amazon.
well, the built environment is the built environment. So there.
But if that's the way to solve that solution, there's no place for these delivery trucks. Everyone has stuff delivered.
Right.
They're always there when people turn the corners. If these stuff.
What's that? I think I better go on to. I think I'm getting the hook.
No.
And-
You're not getting the hook. You're asking very good questions, and towards the end, just because I want to get everybody in, and I see your hand was raised for a while, so I'm going to go to you next. Just so I can get everybody in, I'll answer all your questions. I'm not going anyplace. Like I said, we have this space for 2 hours. I'll be outside in front of the library. Just very quickly, to South Willow, very aware that I get emails about it all of the time. I go by there, I don't announce it, I go by there and just watch what's happening. Yes, people are parking in front of South Willow because there's no place else to go, and, it's blocking traffic. So that is something that I spoke to the town manager about. We're going to have to look at that street and speak to the engineer to see if, yeah,
I'm not an engineer, so I can't tell you what it is, but very aware of it and it's on the radar.
Seems like you need very materials to serve more building value to everybody feels that people want to have a very unique population of
Yeah.
seniors,
Yep.
who are housed, who are students, who might be around high school, going to high school. The other thing too is that a year or so ago, if you're taking a license for having, and I would love to know studying how long it takes. Because that frustration at that human level is going to cause people to jaywalk. They usually, if they're about to rush through lights, they usually, I sit at the light on North Fullerton and Bloomfield Avenue constantly, and even pushing the button on Bloomfield Avenue by anthropology is to no avail. And I have a student that's walking around constantly.
What I can say, oh, I'm sorry.
The other point too is that we have, going back to what I believe, parking authority is trying to do, is that almost always someone in a legal turn on Church Street, which we're working on Church Street, that is very area. We don't see anybody getting in trouble there at all. Whereas where you have DoorDash people who are trying to deliver food towards Willow, that's notoriously called. And I still don't see anybody there with authority. Those are the hot spots that are
Right.
dangerous.
So very quick, and I don't want to split a point, but are you talking about making a left-hand turn from South Fullerton going on to Church?
Yep. Going from South Fullerton, from Bloomfield Avenue, you're seeing it constantly.
Even with the new
All
sign.
right, so apparently, I heard about this, and I don't want to spend too much time on it, but that's not a legal term, because there's no sign saying that
From
South.
Bloomfield or South Fullerton?
Well, if you're on Bloomfield, I guess going west, you can't make a left. But from South Fullerton, you can. Right.
Yeah. I live on South Fullerton, so I can constantly.
And this-
Never, before a person driving the parking and they get South Fullerton constantly right before, where that little, former bank is, the salon.
Yeah.
To Bloomfield Avenue, but I don't see anything on Church at all.
After the traffic study, there was a sign, I'm not a driver before, but there was a sign when you're at the corner of South Fullerton facing Bloomfield, there was a sign that said no U-turn into Church. That sign was never replaced after the traffic study. And people swing around it all the time, and it's, that's a dangerous corner. I do not cross, I walk up into church to cross the church, to cross the street. But the lights that are put there, I don't know who studied that.
There was an in-depth study to, yes, and the former iteration of that 5 corners was bad, and the current iteration of that 5 corners is bad. And the timing of the lights on Bloomfield Avenue, I want to answer whatever questions I can. None of these things are in the purview, really, of the Vision Zero task force. I'm happy to shed whatever light I can, because I've been with these kind of nonprofits for a long time, but none of that particularly is in the purview. It is, yes, and that's who did the studies. That yes. So I'm going to go on to the next slide so I don't get the hook. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, just a quick question.
Sure.
Are there schools on those streets?
Hillside Ave, where it is at Hillside Ave is the rear field. St. Luke's and Hillside Ave, that is where the rear play field at Hillside. I do have, my next slide is about schools. Okay, so here we go. The speed limit in all the school zones has been lowered by ordinance to 20 miles an hour. The school zone ordinance was not enforceable until DCS received the signs. So DCS has received the signs, and the signs will be in place at the schools before the opening of school. So all the school zones will be 20 miles per hour, and they will be able to be enforceable because the signs are available. So that is the last of my presentation, except to say that Vision Zero has its own township email. So your concerns are welcome. And the emails here are received by myself. They're received by our planner, Janice Talley. They're received by Austin, and they're received by our engineer, Norberto Hernandez. And that is the end of my presentation.
So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll take, sure.
This is a comment, and this is an experience that I've had with the township as it relates to Vision Zero, which I've been following for quite some time. I live right across the street. I'm going to make it particular to our parking lot, Plymouth lot. Vision is the first word of your organization. Vision is important, being able to see. Street lights in parking lots and on the streets are consistently out. From October of 2023 through this May of 2024, I not only sent emails to the township, I had to deal with PSE&G directly myself. I went to their websites, I made complaints, I told them exactly with pictures and maps of which lights were out. They had the audacity to reply to me to go out and tell them what pole numbers were out. They were it was the entire parking lot here. I don't know if the plaza behind Just Jake's is Third Ward or not. Same idea. Parking lots are dangerous. If you can't see, you're gonna get hit. Somebody's gonna hit you, you're gonna fall, somebody's gonna attack you. It took them October, up to 7 months to finally come out and get the street lights done. Vision, to be able to see, I'm a driver, I'm a walker, I'm all of those things. I can't see at night that well. Not because my car doesn't have good headlights, but because it's dark.
It is dark.
It's dark.
Human
And
scale
let me tell you,
lighting. Human scale lighting is one of the
Right, so
the
vision-
dreams. But again, we come up. Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say we come up against PSE&G and what's the infrastructure that's available, the budget constraints. So human scale lighting is very much on the minds of Vision Zero.
Okay, because that wasn't one of the things that was mentioned, and it's town-wide concerns, and when they do traffic studies, I'm sure they're not there during the day only. They should be mindful of whether or not people have light, if they can see. Vision is the first priority, right?
I hear you.
Nobody drives blind, I would assume. So my point is that one person, multiple lots, emails to everybody in town, the previous administration. All I got back was, yes, it's a problem, we've tried to, we can't do anything about it, you have to get in touch with PSC. I, as a resident, now have to police all the streetlights. That's a big burden. That's a big
Yes.
burden.
The Belgian block, can that be changed over to concrete in heavily parked areas like South Willow Street and Roosevelt? Because they get hit so many times, they break in half. Township doesn't do anything about it. It's like, oh, that's the resident's problem. You have to maintain your property. It's like, put concrete curbs back in. They're reinforced with steel. They hold up better to the way people parallel park. And also, Union Street has had a Belgian block started, I think it's 2 or 3 years ago now. We're still waiting for pavement, and it's already coming up on the fall.
Yep.
Is this going to be put off again? There are potholes that are unbelievable on that street every time it snows.
In terms of Union Street, Mr. O'Toole, in terms of Union Street, Elm Street through South Fullerton Ave is on the list.
And it
And
has
in
been for a
terms
number of
of,
years. That's why I'm asking, is it top of the list or bottom of the list?
I said in the beginning of the presentation, I don't have a sense of what's done, and I don't have a
But
sense
I
of
want
what's
our
done.
representative here to know, we've been waiting a long time to get that pavement finished. And another thing that's happened.
Well, so let me just interject here for a second, because I hear everything you're saying, all right? But just with time constraints, you and I afterwards, library, come talk to me, email me anytime, because this seems like this is something that's been going on for a long period of time, and not gonna solve it all tonight, and I'm willing to listen to everything that you have to say, but we just have time constraints, and we just have to move on to the next part of the program. But I'm more than willing to hear everything you have to say. We'll address it. So at this point, yes.
I just want to jump on the Belgian block thing. One quick comment. I would like to know, Norman mentioned that Belgian block was determined to be used because of this less than concrete curves. I would just like to know how that determination was made from an engineering standpoint.
Do you know I asked that
Nothing to
question
address
in
now.
preparing for today? And Austin didn't know what the answer to that is, because the conversion from Belgian blocking to, from poured concrete curbs to Belgian blocking predates him, and he couldn't find any data on that. I did ask that question, and I did want to know also, just from my own knowledge, how, like, what actually is the savings. But he was not able to provide that answer because the program started before his tenure.
As I understand it, the savings is when the curb needs to be replaced. They can just
That's
replace
exactly-
three little blocks instead of the whole segment.
I think the next presenter is my colleague Lisa,
But the
and,
block also heats up everyone's tires because they're not put on a pad and they put on.
oh, I'm sorry, Officer
Install
Higgins
correctly,
and his
please.
team are
No
on their way to the
police is their
stage.
Contractors.
This is the first board game, just elected on July 1st, making some pretty good
It's up on the upper section.
progress.
They have this scheme that-
Thank you. What appreciate that.
Good evening, everybody. Can you all hear me? Yes. I'm a coach, so I talk kind of like. So, I bring you greetings on behalf of Chief Conforti, Deputy Chief Will Young. I am Lieutenant Williams of the Montclair Police Department. I command the Community Policing Unit, and with me I have Officer Higgins and Officer Peterson. So just to start out on a few things that were already being talked about, Norma, I give you kudos to try to even answer those questions. I've been a police officer 25 years, command several units. I will not answer those traffic questions about traffic studies and all that kind of stuff, because it's a very strategic thing. It's not something that somebody just takes and go out and writes a couple things. It involves the police, engineering, environmental. It's a whole bunch of things that come into play when they do a traffic study, and it's not something that happens overnight. And then once the traffic study is concluded, they have to come to some type of, where do we go from here? Do we want to do this? Do we want to do that? So the best person to answer those questions is actually Lieutenant Stephanie Ignezo, who is actually our Traffic Bureau commander.
And she's on the task force.
Yes, she is, okay? So just to clarify a couple things, police do issue parking tickets, but usually it's because of a safety issue. We don't just go around looking for cars that are improperly parked. We have parking utility for that, and they handle that. We actually will enforce traffic safety issues when it comes to parking, or complaints, like somebody's driveway is blocked or somebody's parked too close. We will respond to those. But other just run-of-the-mill everyday parking meter, somebody's parked, if it's not unsafe, in an area that's not supposed to be parked, that's the park utility handles that. All right. Also, Bloomfield Avenue, heard a lot about that, and the lights and those traffic counting measures, that was beyond our control here in Montclair. That was something at a county and state level that was done the whole corridor of Bloomfield Avenue. So I would just say that's something that's beyond the council here. They can talk about it, but this was years in the making, and this is what they came up with.
The township is not safe.
They don't have to do feedback, or
They come out, they come out with engineers, they use DOT regs, they use all these guidelines in order to come up with what they come up with.
So
Now,
the town council has no say in.
not really, not with Bloomfield Avenue, it's county road.
Bloomfield Avenue is a county road, so you have to consult with the county, to do anything on any county road, even when it's right through town.
But I'm saying that the county doesn't come here and say, hey, Montclair, do you mind if we do this on Bloomfield Avenue? That's not what happened. The county says, this is what we're doing on Bloomfield Avenue. Usually the council will be able to have questions about it and respond, but usually they don't come and ask permission. This is county road. In fact, to tell you how it works, if we want to do something to the county road, we have to call the county and get permission, even though it's in our county. All right, so that's the way it works.
All the town is asking is for safety.
So the county's responsible for the light,
Lights and all that stuff, yes.
and then do they follow up with a study on how the light might affect the pattern traffic?
So they actually did, they came with this big plan, and when it happened, I think we did kind of tell them, look, we're getting a lot of backup at certain streets, we're getting it. So they were advised. I mean, we do tell them the results of it, but, you know, they have changed them some, actually, since they've done it. They're not the same as they were. So we have been in.
But my concern is that because you have a lot of kids walking down South Fullerton crossing in that really funky intersection. And my concern, particularly around 3 o'clock, is the impatience of the driver, the impatience of teenagers trying to get across, and that light not changing with regularity. Because it's one thing when it's long, it's another thing when you can't rely on it to change. And they're taught that, particularly where I'm college, need that.
Again, what we could do, we will relay to our traffic bureau commander and have her look into it, but that's, and I want to caution everybody too. I mean, we talk about those yellow lights, and I know some people love them, I hate them. I'm gonna tell you the truth, I don't like it, because it gives people a false sense of security. They press that light, they walk out there, and you know, I was 6 years old, and one of my older cousins did something that wasn't very good. I stopped at the red light, and he walked across the street, he looked at me and goes, what are you doing? I said, the light is red. He goes, lights don't run you over, cars run you over, which is very true. And that's, you know, unfortunately, what people do, they press that light, they just go and walk out there, false sense of security. I'm really not a fan of those lights. I know we tend to love them around here, but.
So Black Corners is pretty busy, and I know the township has said, like, what's stopping the township police or the traffic bureau putting somebody there at all times to make sure that things are running smoothly and or enforcement? Is that something the town has considered? We have crossing guards, why not have a police officer in an area where it's completely bombarded with foot traffic, regular traffic, bicycle traffic? I know you have segways, they're great.
We do, but I will say, we have not considered putting somebody there 24/7. I will say over the years, knowing that, in my years as a community police officer, that was my crossing. And we've done things in order to actually, because of the way things have changed, there isn't a crossing there regularly like it used to be back in the day. I don't know where I can inquire. We can inquire, and I'll talk to Councilman Williams, all right, regarding it.
If you're working and you're policing in a car, what's different than getting on a Segway and policing an area?
Well, no, there's a lot different with that. Deployment of policing, that's totally different. So it's not that simple.
This is the primary reason why we're having a town hall, right? So that, not just so that we can tell you stuff, so that we can hear things also. We may hear some things that we don't like, but, you know, that's part of the process, right? I think that's a very good idea. But one thing that I would encourage folks to do is not just wait for a town hall, and we're gonna have more town halls, have an email address. There's also on the homepage, it's request service or whatever the case may be, and you can fill out all the information that goes directly to the department. I would encourage folks to use that, because we keep track of that data, and it would be very helpful to see how many times we're getting things, because if you're just sending me emails and stuff, I'm gonna forward it to the town manager, he's gonna forward it to someone else, but that is gonna go directly to the department that handles it and captures the data. I know you have another question, but, go ahead.
What if we do all that? What if you have been following the suggestion? What if you're getting zero responses? Yes, we'll get to it. Yes, thank you for your suggestion.
Well, that's part of the reason why I'm standing here in front of you, because I was maybe not like you, but to a certain extent, I was sending emails and things of that nature, and I wasn't getting a response, and I decided to run here, so that's why I'm here. So I hear what you're saying, and you're making a lot of valid points. So I think persistence pays, and you have a brand new council here, and we're trying to do things a little bit different. You haven't had a town hall in a while, have you?
No.
Right, so we're doing things a little bit different.
That's just what I was up there to get to. In community policing, we do the things that are non-traditional. We're not the guys that's riding around in a patrol car responding to calls. We actually address quality of life concerns. We address, we go out, we do some of the things that are very non-traditional policing. So somebody talked about lights being out in the parking lot. Call us. We'll make that call. Now, I will tell you, we will make that call to PSCNG. And sometimes it helps that it came from us. But that's as far as we can go with it. So you have concerns like that, we have, you take our number, 973-509-4775. That's the Community Policing Bureau. We serve as your ambassadors to the police department. What we do is where there's a gap, we build a bridge. Where there's a wall, we tear it down so that we're in contact and communication, that we're addressing some of these issues and concerns that may not have to be raised to the councilman's level. Because if you call us and we can call PSCNG and get them out there, because we'll go and get that light pole number. We know that's the process, right? We even actually have a form that we can just fill the form out and submit it, all right? But I know it's something that's an inconvenience to you, but let us help you with those types of things because that's what we're here for, okay? And with that, I'm going to turn it over to my
So I'm Officer Higgins with the Montclair Police. This is my partner, Officer Peterson. We're going to talk about some crime prevention tips. Basically things that are going to help you increase the chances that somebody's not going to victimize you with a lot of crimes, specifically around property. Not going through, so I'll just talk for myself. First things first, lock your doors to your houses. Make sure your door is in good condition. If you have an older house and you have an antique looking door, and maybe the wood's getting a little rotten in certain places, maybe think about having somebody fix the door or replace the door. Make sure your locks are in good working order and condition. If you have to jiggle your key to try to get in or out, it means the lock's going bad. The striker plate on your door, the part where the door locks into and it goes into the frame of the door. A lot of those factory screws are only about a quarter, half-inch long. Another thing you can consider is taking those out and taking a longer 3-inch screw or something like that. That's actually going to go all the way through the frame of the door and actually into the framing of the houses. So if somebody was to try to kick your door open, it's that much harder to accomplish that. If you have sliding glass doors, try to get something to lock it so people can't slide it from the outside. The lock that comes with those is usually kind of flimsy in a way. Something we already talked about, lighting. Around your house, keep things lit up. You can go to Home Depot and get the little solar lights, the little rock lights, the active lighting. They have a wide array of those that are spotlights, things that just illuminate wherever you put them. Just light up those dark places. You want to keep your house visible, especially your house number. A lot of houses we go to, especially in the third ward, you go, it's dark, the house is set back from the street, you can't even see the house number. So if you have a house like that, maybe consider getting your number really lit up, closer to the street. You're gonna wanna consider motion lights. Motion lights are good, they kind of alert you to what may be in your backyard. Chances are, most of the time it's gonna be a deer or a raccoon. I did bring up the PSE&G lighting. She brought up the pole number, there's a pole number on there. But again, you can call us and say, hey, there's a street light out at Clinton Gates, and I'll go out there and I'll take a look at it. But there's a whole number and everything. Securing clutter in your yard. If you have an extension ladder or anything like that just sitting out in your backyard and you can't put it in your garage or anywhere like that, store it out of sight, maybe consider locking it up. Because that's something that somebody who's gonna break into your house could walk back there to see, and it just makes it that much easier. Because a lot of people don't consider locking their second floor windows, so they figure nobody's gonna be able to get up there. And say your second floor windows are locked. Now that's a ladder that they might just be brazen enough to walk up to their neighbor's house and go in their house. Put away your lawn tools, shovels, anything else that could be used to break a window or pry a door open. Home security systems. Home security systems used to be very intricate and very expensive. They're still pretty pricey, but now you have different options where there's wired ones and there's wireless ones. There's ones that hook up to almost like a cell phone, so it doesn't actually have to connect to your house in that way. There's ones that you can basically do yourself. You go buy the kit at Home Depot or Lowe's, and you put the sensors and all that where you want to go, and you set the app up on your phone, and it'll alert you that your front door is open, your back door is open. You can set the alarm, but with that one, it won't go to an outside person to monitor, to call us. It will go to you to call us. Most important thing about alarms, they don't work if you don't turn them on. A lot of people think, oh, I keep getting false alarms. If you get false alarms for whatever reason, a bad sense or anything like that, you're paying that security system company a lot of money generally. Have them come out and service it, take a look at it. Just make sure you turn them on. Security cameras, again, wired ones and wireless ones. There's a bunch of them. Technology has come a long way, even in the last 10 years. There's motion activated ones, like the Ring and other cameras like that, that get when people walk up to your front door and they drop your Amazon package or anything like that. They also come in floodlight cameras, where it's a light and a camera all in one. And they're usually motion activated. It goes right to your cell phone. You can look and see my Amazon package was just delivered, and maybe tell a neighbor to go pick it up. One thing to consider with a lot of these cameras is they're on what's called a loop recording system, where it's more or less set to re-record over itself, or the video erases after a certain period. Here's a big one, dialing 911. If you see something, make sure you say something. I can't count the number of times I've gone to somebody's house for a crime, and they said they saw something suspicious, and they thought nothing of it, and they just went about their day. You're going to want to call 911. You want to make sure you know where you are. That's the most important thing. We can't send the resources for your emergency if we don't know where you are. Answer all the questions the 911 dispatcher is asking. Try to remain as calm as you can. Describe the emergency as well as you can. Keep the phone open, so don't hang up after you told them where you are, because we don't want that. They want to stay on the phone with you as long as they can, especially if it's an emergency where we want to get there before you disconnect. Describe what the perpetrator looks like. Describe what vehicle they may have flooded. Everything from the shoes they're wearing, to the hat they're wearing, to the car, everything. Home security while on vacation. You go on vacation and you're taking pictures and all that, wait till you get back to post on social media. Make sure you lock all the entries and don't leave your spare key and the flower pot that you always do. Use timers on your inside and outside lights to make it appear like the home is still lived in. You might want to hold your newspapers and your mail. Maybe have a neighbor come pick them up. And more importantly, you got to let your neighbors know, hey, I'm going away for a week. Might keep an eye on my house. This way they can say, van pulls in the driveway. That's out of the normal. They didn't tell me they're going to have somebody pull in the van. Another one is the 9 p.m. routine. 5 minutes every night can save you hours, days, weeks, months, and years of heartache and headache give a victim one more time. Basically, this is, you set a certain time for you, whatever works for your family, your household, that you go around, you make sure your front door is locked, make sure the front window, you take the key fob of your car, you beep it. My car, I hit it twice, it beeps. That lets me know that the car is locked. If it doesn't beep, that means maybe one of my doors are open and I have to go out and adjust it. You want to take all the clutter out in front of your house, don't leave your kids' bikes and toys out there, just take it. Set your alarms, turn on your outside lights, just try to make it part of your routine. This is my favorite one, be a good neighbor. Know who your neighbors are. I know sometimes that can be difficult. Even if you have a neighbor you don't have the greatest relationship with, it's good to know each other, and it helps if you look out for them. Pets and crime prevention. Studies have shown that neighbors who regularly walk their dog observe things that are out of the normal. I know if I leave my house at 5 o'clock in the morning to walk my dog every day, I kind of get in the routine. I know who's coming and going. That's Bill, who's going to work. That's so-and-so coming home from work. Walking your dog also helps you know more of your neighbors. I can't count the number of people who knew my dog's name, but they may not remember mine. But they remember me through my dog. Another big one, your dog's barking. Sometimes it can be irritated, but that might be an alert that there's something out of the normal going on. Somebody's in your front yard, somebody's in your backyard. Again, it could be a deer or raccoon. Doesn't hurt to look out your window and see what's going on. In some cases, you actually had this happen in town where people were trying to burglarize a home. They heard that big dog barking and they left. Securing your vehicles. A lot of vehicle crime happens because people leave their things unlocked. They leave the keys in the car, or in some cases, they take their nice purse and just put it on the floorboard of the passenger seat. Those are most of the cases where they'll break the window to steal that purse. It may be an empty purse, but they'll do it. But if you lock it to keep things out of view, generally they're going to move on and on and on. They work off the probability. Although 1 out of 10 cars, there's a chance one of them may be unlocked. So lock it, hide your sub, and take your keys. The big thing with that is some of the cars now, when you lock them and you take the keys with them, the mirrors fold in. Some of the people who are out there doing these crimes realize that, and they know, okay, that car has their keys in it. And that's how the car was stolen. Some of them with the key fob is in the car or around the car, the windows, the doors. Yeah. Another service to the Montclair police officers is what's called a home security survey. You set that up, it's where a specially trained police officer comes out and kind of goes over some of the same things I'm talking to you about. Everything from the way your hedges are, to the trees hanging low, all sorts of things, and kind of talk you through that. Their crime prevention and home safety recommendations for you to consider. That's the end of my presentation.
There's one thing I like to stress that Officer Higgins said. Please call us. Far too many times after the fact, we get there in the morning, something has occurred, and the person says, you know, about 2 o'clock, I heard something. And I just thought it was, and I went back to bed. We're here 24/7, 365 days a year. Call us. All right, we'd rather be safe than sorry, because too many times we get there and somebody has actually heard or saw something, and they just didn't think it would work. They didn't want to bother us. That's what they say. We didn't want to bother you guys. Bother. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, question. So,
Google Maps has something, a device where you can blur information so that they don't see the car, the kind of car you have. Oh, you can't see the window type that you have on your home and so forth. Have you used that private?
So if you go to Google and you go to Google Maps, you more or less go to Google and type in how to blur out your house on Google Maps. And it gives you a step-by-step on that.
Yeah, have you done it?
I have, but I know it is an option. I can't answer about how easy or hard it is, but it is.
I'd just like to add one thing. When I moved into my house on Clover Place, which you know, I was told by an officer, and I don't know who it was like 32 years ago, told me to replace my basement windows. Because my house is very old, it's 130 years old, and I had the original windows in the basement. And the officer told me to have those windows replaced because a lot of people break into houses through the basement windows. So thank you. And of course, I did.
If you do our home security survey, we provide you with a written report of what we do. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Lisa Johnson. I'm out of the Office of Sustainability. So thanks to everybody who presented already. And thanks for everybody to show up to listen to us. Really appreciate it. So Montclair is one of the few municipalities that actually has an Office of Sustainability. So it's really, really awesome that we have this. And our office is able to do a lot of great things. And I'm going to talk about a couple of the things that we're currently doing in our office. So one of the cool things we're doing, now there's a scan report. No, there's a scan report on the computer. Hold on. There we go. Okay, that's okay. I'll just have to do it manually. It's not, I don't know why it's working. So we received a grant through the USDA and the U.S. Forestry Service for a program to help with our tree canopy, to increase our tree canopy. And not just increase our tree canopy, but educate the community on the importance of trees. So the grant is over a 5-year period. And we received $1 million, right? It's pretty awesome. And it's specifically for our overburdened communities. And our overburdened communities are located in the 4th Ward, most of the 3rd Ward, a little bit of the 2nd, and a tiny bit of the 1st by Montclair State University. So our grant, like I mentioned, is to increase our tree canopy in these areas, but also teach the community about the importance of trees, right? A lot of people don't like trees. Why wouldn't people like trees? They drop leaves, they fall down, right? There's some negatives to them, but for the most part, they are treasures, right? They're amazing. They give us life and oxygen, and they help with stormwater. They're awesome, and they help with climate resiliency. Oh, it's working now. So here are some of the reasons why we love trees, right? They provide shade for our buildings. They reduce fossil fuel consumption. They help us with our health, right? They absorb particulate matter, PM 2.5. They make us healthier, right? All these amazing things. They transpire. They're magic. So again, like I mentioned, this grant is over a 5-year period. And even though we received $1 million, we are partnering with Montclair State University. Part of the grant was to increase youth employment and participation. So every summer for the next 4 years, we will have a green team from the Institute of Sustainability at Montclair State. Is anybody familiar with that program? It's like a 10-week program, and they take students, high-level seniors or rising sophomores and juniors, and they work for 10 weeks on all different projects, and they're all centered around sustainability. So we're going to have them for, again, the next 4 years, and they're going to do everything like test our carbon sequestration rates. They're going to do community engagement, perception surveys, anything we could think of, right? So we're going to work on that as we go. They're going to gather, again, data and insight and find out what people think about trees and where they want trees, right? Like I said, some people don't want trees, which is insane to me. So we want to, again, get people to understand why trees are good, find out what kind of trees people want. So when we do our community engagement, I hope everybody's able to participate, fill out surveys, right? Engage with us. And like I said, you are very important in this process. Very, very important. So if you live within an overburdened community and you want a tree, please reach out to me. My email address is right there. It's not going to happen overnight. Like I said, this is a 5-year program. So the first thing we've done so far is we mapped all of the trees in these areas. So we have them all mapped. We identified trees that are hazards, what needs to be pruned, what needs to be removed. And then the next step, again, is planting, identifying places to plant. So if you want a tree in front of your house, if there's a park that's missing trees, please let me know, and I'll make sure that you're on the list to get trees. So, yes.
Do you also assess trees that might be divided I don't know how that would work, but between if my property is a community that has houses, has trees that we're responsible for, but also the neighbor with units that has very old trees that we use over our fence. It's beautiful, so how do you save it without causing traffic changes?
Is that on private property?
I guess, yeah, the women's part is private.
Okay, so right now we can only plant on public, but we can assess on private. So please reach out to me, and I'll let our arborist know that this is a tree that needs to be looked at.
Are you working with the Vision Zero people to keep the trees out of the vision triangles and intersections?
We're not working with them at the
I
moment.
think you should be, because that's one of the reasons why you have the four-way stop now at Claremont Forest, and there should be one at Claremont and Willow, because residents have hedges that are over 2.5 feet high, and you have to go into intersections to around. Trees do the same thing. They block the view, you can't see what's going on. You really need to keep those areas open.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, right now what we're doing is the pruning, the hazard pruning, removal, assessing, mapping. But that's why the community engagement aspect is so important, so that we could hear feedback like this. I completely agree.
Yeah, I live on Floating Place, which might be considered overburdened. I'm not really sure what that word means in the context that you use it.
So it's according to the NJDEP, the overburdened communities, it could be due to lower income, environmental burdens. They have their own criteria for it. So this is the map. I know it's not the nicest map. It's by the NJDEP. Oh, yeah, so like lack of trees, but it also goes into lower income, or they have other criteria that they use.
Our situation is a little different. We have trees that have been planted by the township that have been there for many years. We have the white pears, which are very weak wood.
The Bradbury pears, yeah.
Yeah, they break a lot. We have other trees that are humongous. It's my understanding that when the town arborist retired, he was not replaced.
We do have a town arborist.
My concern is right now, on Portland Place, we're getting back to the traffic, we get a lot of trucks coming up Portland Place because they're delivering to all the restaurants. Some of them are tractor trailers, pretty much every weekday. Some of these trucks are so big that they scrape the trees. The trees are hanging over Portland Place. The trucks come up and scrape the trees. And it creates a lot of noise, the limbs fall down. This is a pretty common thing. My next door neighbor and I are trying to figure out, we've already talked to somebody at the township who was supposed to come out, deal with some of the township planted trees that are now too big for the neighborhood or need to be pruned properly. So my question is, if we got in touch with your office, could you deal with some of those issues? You have a $5 million grant.
No, it's I wish it was $5 million. And we're sub-awarding Montclair State about a quarter of that to work with them with the youth employment program. But absolutely, please, again, that's why community engagement is so important, because there was a time where our trucks weren't that big, right? This wasn't an issue. And as things change and we have bigger trucks so we can transport more Amazon stuff, now we've got these issues.
Development on top of development, traffic on top of traffic, things are changing.
So please reach out to me if you notice that. Again, the first thing we're doing is the hazard pruning and removals. But if you have specific problems, please reach out to me. Yes, but if it's specific for your area, if you will say, you know what, just make sure that this is pruned. I already have residents that have done that. Please, yeah, please do it. Carmel?
Hi, I just wanted to ask, are you guys insisting on native?
It's not all going to be native. We usually do as much as we can, as that's.
I'll try to top that. We do as much as we can that's available. Usually it's about 70%, but sometimes native trees don't make sense in certain areas because we just don't have the space for it. Thank you.
Yeah, we just don't always have the space for it, so it just depends on the area. Of native.
Yeah, and we do mix it up. But it's mostly native.
I started the application and then I gave it to the director of community services. So he's got all the, the numbers, but I started it. So hopefully, and then it'll open us up for even more grants and opportunities.
What is CEJST?
It's environmental justice, community environmental justice. I forget the ST. So that means it's got more of a burden than the other areas.
Is that where we are? Is that third ward? What is that?
This is the 4th ward. We're probably right over here.
So with all the developments in this area, all the trees that have been removed, the roots, the removal of all the roots have helped all the flooding, right? Because there's no runoff for the water.
Yeah, when trees are removed. So trees are amazing when it comes to stormwater management. Yeah.
So with all the new developments in our area, all the trees are removed. Other areas, with the runoff.
The township always replaces their trees. So if you're a homeowner, you're saying they don't?
What about all the Seymour Street redevelopment?
So that's private. You're talking about public or private?
Well, so the only thing that the town can do in terms of trees are the trees that are planted on the outside of the sidewalk, right, that's by the street. That's where they can be planted, but anything that's on private property, then.
Right, so Seymour Street was converted into a plaza. Correct, when the development came in.
Correct.
So those were public streets, that particular street closed. There's no trees. Because they bought up the township sold that area. Right, so there's new buildings, new water runoff, new flooding, with no replacement.
They did do a bioretention basin underneath the plaza to alleviate the flooding. So that is in planning. That has to be done with new development. So there are answers to some of the issues.
We just had a huge rainstorm, part of.
Yeah, but that.
I'm just saying, like, in areas that are being developed, causing additional flooding in our area.
Yeah, but Seymour specifically, I know that we did a bioretention, the developer did a bioretention basin. So any new development, yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. So this grant is to help replenish some of the trees that were lost. But yes, so any new development for the most part has to have these stormwater applications to them. Any other questions about trees? Everybody loves trees, right? We all love trees. I love trees. All right. So again, this is the area, and this, is a good segue into my next presentation, which is the Home Energy Efficiency Program. And this is from PSE&G, and I'm partnering with the township's partnering with Sustainable Jersey on this program to get the word out. So this program is awesome. It's income-based. There's 3 different levels, and whatever you qualify for, you can get a free or low-cost home energy audit. And I had it done when I bought my house, and I bought a fixer-upper. It was a hot mess. And the first thing I did is, call PSE&G. I saw the program. This was about 2.5 years ago. And they showed up, and they tested my house for everything. They found a little baby gas leak, which was incredible because my home inspector didn't even find that. And they changed all my lights. They moved my dryer vent, and they re-insulated my attic for free, which was awesome. I saved a ton of money. So whether you rent or own, you can get one of these energy audits done. Like I said, it's income-based, so depending what income that your household has, it can either be free or low cost. In the back, I have pamphlets that have the income. There's also the website as well, energyoutreachnj.com/Montclair. Again, there's no obligation. You can get the energy audit. You don't have to do anything. You could just get the audit done, and you could say, you know what? I'm not going to do it. And, whoops. I just noticed there was some here. And if you have Medicare, you automatically get a free energy audit, and then you can get free upgrades if you need them. So definitely check it out. And it's not just for Montclair. It's for anybody that has a PSE&G bill. So this is from the 2018 Clean Energy Act that New Jersey passed, where it required our utilities to put money aside for programs like this. So this is a social good, right? So again, if you have questions about it, please reach out to me. I have nothing but good things to say about it. Once they did the work, they came back and checked a couple times to make sure it was done well and everything was working out. So huge fan of that. So these are all the things they check, right? Your insulation, your lighting, windows, doors, heating, cooling system. If they see that your hot water heater is like dying, they'll replace it, right? I was like trying to push mine and be like, are you almost gone? It was fine though, I was very upset. Even your furnace, right? They'll replace those things if it's like on its last legs. So it's a really, really great program. And another thing that we're doing through the office is that if you are in one of the overburdened communities, like most of the Third Ward is, and you qualify for Comfort Partners or weatherization, right? So again, income-based, we will give, and you get an energy audit, we will give you a $100 check, right? But you have to get the energy audit done, and then you just submit the paperwork to my office. There's a paper you've got to fill out, and we will send you $100, right? Because we really want everybody to get this done. Again, I'm somebody that did it, and well before I got involved with this, and I can't say more great things about it. Any questions about the program? Yeah? I've had it done for HomeCore, so that's separate because everybody's in the same income bracket pretty much. But if it's different, I can't say. But if you have your own apartment or condo, you could just get it done for yourself. Any other questions? No? All right. Well, look into it because again, I can't speak enough about it. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about real quick is recycling. Who here recycles? You have to. It's the law. I'll put you in jail if you don't. You have to recycle. But are we recycling correctly? Do you think you're recycling correctly? Good. These are all the things you could recycle. Newspaper, magazine, paper bags, right? You can recycle your soy milk containers. You know that? Do you put it with paper or plastic? Not paper, because it's wax coated. So when you recycle your polylaminated paper containers, it goes with commingled, not with paper, right? Aluminum, glass. Who here recycles their pizza boxes? No, never. No, even if it looks clean, you cannot. It's trash. No. Who here recycles their old food containers? Like if you get takeout. No. Garbage. Anything with oil that could have oil on it, it's got to go in the trash, unfortunately, right?
Is it recyclable cheaper if it's like the box that, say, a frozen meal goes in? My understanding is that with all that stuff that has anything that keeps stuff cool is not recyclable. So like if you got, like if you got a Weight Watchers dinner, like that from it's in the freezer, and it comes with like, it's in cardboard.
Cardboard is fine, but if it's got a gel pack in it?
No, my understanding was like that when you have stuff that goes in the freezer that's packed in something that's cardboard, that the cardboard has an additive to help it stay cold or something like that, and you weren't supposed to.
I've never heard that. You might be right. I'll ask. I'll ask. No, you might be. I'll ask. Yes.
I wanted to say I've put shredded paper in a clear plastic bag before. My shredder does it's not like ribbon, but it's like ribbon, and it's been, they won't make it.
Really?
It won't go through the theaters, but I heard.
Well, you could take it separately, but they won't pick it up. Okay. All right. Well, I'll talk to community services about it, but I don't know why. I'm sorry. I'll find out for you. So these are the things that are not recyclable. Everybody should know this. No plastic bags. You recycle your plastic bags? Just kidding. Yeah, good. Yeah, good. No food containers or wrappers, plastic bottle lids, straws, right? Paper products, cups, towels. I see the Starbucks cups in the recycling all the time. They don't go in there. Styrofoam packing material, no wax paper or liners. Yes. No. Well, if it's clean and you put it in a ball, so it can't touch food or anything, but yes. Well, it usually helps, because otherwise it could get stuck in the, we want to make things as easy as possible. Yes.
When you go to bring a plate of garbage and leave that if you notice that nothing out there, they have more in that. So it would be nice, more big bellies.
One like Valley Road.
Oh, see what month right here, and there's big garbage containers, they just have the plastic bags in them. Now it does a great job, recycling and recycling. Put there, please, so you get ugly.
Okay. I mean, that's community services, but I do work with them on a lot of issues. Absolutely. Yes. Yes, I totally agree. I've seen them overflow, and yeah, absolutely. So the other thing I wanted to bring up too is when you dispose of your garbage, right? Please make sure that it's contained. It's not, like if you put out, and even your recycling, when you put out your boxes, please flatten them. And I've seen people put out 20 boxes, not just out there, like not even flattened. And think about our workers, our sanitation workers, right? They're the ones that have to chase down the street and try to pick up these boxes or the Snapple bottles that are going down the street. So again, when there's a storm out, right, just like the storm we had the other day, when the weather's a little windy, just think about our workers and their health. And just be a little conscious when you put your garbage out, right? Especially if it's really rainy out. If you could do it early in the morning or later in the night, please consider that too. So we also take your electronics. So on Saturdays, you can bring your electronics to the Department of Community Services on North Fullerton Avenue on Saturdays from 9 to 1. We also have an app. We used Reminder for a while, but Recycle Coach is free. It's paid for by the NJDEP. So I switched this over, right? Saved us some money. So now we're using Recycle Coach. If you have any issues with that, please reach out to me and let me know. And finally, we have our Essex County Household Waste Day. So this is November 9th. It's in Cedar Grove. This is also going to be on the website. On Bradford Avenue. And if you have fluorescent lights, yes. But it's great. Like, again, if you have oil-based paints or stains, if you were doing a kitchen project and you didn't finish it, don't just dump that out. Don't put it down the sink, right? Bring it to this. Pool chemicals, oil, automotive fluids, right? All of car batteries. Please bring it here. Don't throw it out in your waste stream. It's not good for the environment. It's not good for the workers. It's not good for Montclair. So again, you could find this on Essex County website as well as our own. Any questions about recycling? Everybody's A+ at recycling? Yes, good. Yes?
Yeah, I think been putting out this, like, metal lampshade for about a month. They never take it.
Are you putting it out during bulk? Yeah, that's community services. I don't know why, I don't know why they wouldn't take the lampshade. Oh. Huh. Call up community services, and I don't have the number there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. I wish I had an answer for you. Okay, all right, thank you.
So, thank you everybody for coming out. But before you go, pepper me with questions, comments, anything that you want to hear. That's why I'm here. You know, let her rip. So I'm just going to call. But before we do that, Radwa, why don't you come up for a second? So this is our new director of the library. She's been dealing with a lot here. I just wanted to introduce you to her. She's been dealing with a lot. She got us back in here. I wasn't sure whether or not we were going to be able to be in here tonight because we've been having issues with the HVAC, but you know, she's a superstar and she got it. And the council's gonna work with the library to get them some of the resources they need to get us, yeah. And I returned my overdue book, so anybody that wanted Atomic Habits, it's now there, so. Yeah, thanks. So, question?
Just a quick comment in terms of, this is sort of general in terms of the town website. I'm just kind of curious who's in charge and how updates are made, because I've noticed that some departments are very up to date. Specifically, the building department is not. I'm an architect and we deal with them all the time. There is outdated information related to the pandemic that's still up there. New form requirements that are not up there. So it would just be good to have it be consistent throughout all the departments. That's just a general.
Yes, and my bio is not up there either, so got to correct that too. I want everybody to hear.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Back in February 7th, 2023, I did an email to the Montclair Parking Utility and a bunch of other people, and with regard to this area's, you know what, I have a loud voice.
This area's lack of handicap parking, specifically the Plymouth Block, the library, Plymouth Street, Union, down by Crescent. That was February 7th. I asked who to send it to. I sent it to everybody in town, pictures, explanations, yada, yada, yada. Back in April, Peter Iacovellis responded that it was such a helpful note, and that was the end of that conversation, even though everybody, including the past town council, and nothing was done. In our building alone, we're at 5 Roosevelt, we have at least 7 people with handicapped vehicles. The doctor's office next door, not vehicles, excuse me, handicap tags. The doctor's office next door to the Plymouth Block uses all its handicap spots during the day. A lot of people in our building don't have parking underground in our garages. There is plenty of parking in the Plymouth lot to move regular spots down and create more handicap spots for a big, we have a lot of elderly people that require those, to avoid parking cars on the street, to allow people to walk to their buildings. We need more handicap spots in this area. Period of the story was never addressed. I was given the, yes, thank you for the suggestion, nothing came on it.
So, all right, so that predates this council, so this kind of goes.
But it was sent to the Montclair Parking.
Right, right. So this kind of goes into, I want to explain a little bit how we're going to be operating going forward as council. So, and probably the prior council had the same sort of situation, but what we did was we set up committees, okay? So there is a mobility committee that basically takes care of parking related issues. However, with this specific group, and these committees are basically dealing with strategy, right, going forward. With this specific issue, what you should do is email the town manager, Michael Lapola, CC me, and he'll get it to you.
You like these things, the lights?
He'll look into it. He's really good.
I'm in the driveway, so just park on the street. I'll put your car away.
Is it the one on the street?
Hi, could you just share a little bit more, you just touched on it, the HVAC issue here in the library, you just mentioned it.
We do have an urban,
Could you just talk a little bit more about the conversations the council is having about it and what the next steps are?
So,
This is a temporary, fix that right over there when you put it in place. That's why it's cooling here. But it's very expensive. The HVAC system is 25 years old. It needs to be
all true. So we're very aware of it, and this council, when they came in, they have a lot of things that need to be attended to that weren't attended to. No blame, they just weren't attended to for whatever reason, okay? It's this library, it's the other library, it's the town hall, it's the police department, it's Clary Anderson, and I'm probably forgetting about another facility, okay? Now, if you look at everything that needs to be here, and I don't want to throw out figures, but the HVAC system here is going to cost several $100,000 to fix, right? We're aware of that, all right? And there's other priorities also. So what we have to do here is we really have to be honest with ourselves. You know, folks come to me, and I say this to myself, we got to get these property taxes down. It's really expensive to live here, right? But do we want to make investments in things that we love, like the library, so that we can come in here and actually enjoy ourselves and browse the shelves instead of getting our books outside because it's too hot to come inside? Or do we want to pay a little bit more? So these are the decisions that are before the council right now, and they're going to be tough decisions. There's going to be sacrifices that have to be made, but this is something that we're dealing with. So it is on our radar, and I don't have a definitive answer for you as to what the next step forward is, but it is something that we're discussing.
Thanks for all you stated, very informative. I came here, one of my neighbors had texted you, or emailed the whole governing body about the music. I live on C1 Street. I love music, that's not the issue, but music on C1 Boulevard sometimes is so loud, it goes on till 10:30 at night, to the point that my floor is actually vibrating. It's so loud, even if I close the window, the air conditioning on. So I'm just curious about that noise factor, how things go on till 10, maybe it could stop earlier.
So it's funny you said that, because I've been getting a lot of noise complaints about Wellmont Plaza, right? Because they have the free concert series. There's one going on tonight, right? I've been getting Just Jake's, because apparently there's a good time happening on Thursday night, right? And I've been getting in front of Leon's. right? Because there's loud music and the same thing. So I found out something recently about noise complaints. So the health department deals with noise complaints, and then there's actually another agency that the health department reaches out to come and investigate noise complaints, all right? Because there's equipment and things like that to measure the levels and things of that nature. Found all this stuff out within the last couple of days, right? So what I would encourage you to do, to continue doing what you're doing, you know, you can email me, and a lot of you have, but also on the town website, and I'll admit, I don't go to the town website. Apparently you go to the town website, but I don't go to the town website that often, but go to the town website. There's a lot of useful things on there that I don't think that people are aware of. One, if you have an issue, there is something that you can click on and drop down menus and whatever. You can write whatever you need to do, and it'll go directly to where it needs to go. And I think that will be pretty helpful if people use it, because you can email me and I'll take care of your situation, but can we assess, like, is there a problem going on? Can we capture all that data? Probably not, right? So you go through the portal, we'll be able to capture that. It's like, hey, we're getting all these things, right? But due to all of these noise complaints and stuff like that, I think it's incumbent upon us to look at the noise ordinance, because you know, it's becoming a lot more frequent in, you know, the summertime and things of that nature. I enjoy a good outdoor concert, but I don't have it right downstairs, so I can completely understand that. Here.
People wish list maybe just answered it. This wish list maybe already answered it. In terms of like union classes, union parallel to that, it tends to be like to avoid physical happening. How is a four-stop intersection where a lot of people are walking, it's dark at night, and people are flying down. So is that where I would go to the portal and register an issue, or how? What would you say is the solution to that?
So.
You don't have any flashing lights there. It's dark and it's a four-way stop.
So I have a similar issue where, you know, I live on South Fullerton and I have a four-way stop sign, and probably you know, you remember the car crashed into the front of my house, well, through my front gate. People are just driving crazy, right? So what's the solution to that? I suggested a couple of things to the Vision Zero Task Force. I always mess up their name. Besides from the building and stuff like that, we're going to have to spend money in infrastructure, right? And we have to come up with solutions here, because I walk and I run a lot. Some of you might see me out there, you know, pardon me if I'm running without a shirt on or something, but, you know, you'll see me out there and I'm using the streets for enjoyment, you know, to get places or whatever the case may be, and I almost get hit almost every single time. You know, it's normally, they say run against traffic, right? And it's normally someone that's turning this way and looking this way, right? And I go like this, and, you know, they'll just look at me. Or one time this lady just waved at me, like, you know, I didn't know who she was. I'm like, you almost killed me. She, you know, whatever. But, you know, so do I have a good solution for that? Yes, you can email me, put it on my radar. You can go to the through the portal as well, right? You know, but those are kind of longer term solutions. I mean, some of the things, like on my particular block, when I was going around campaigning, knocking on doors, the first thing someone said to me was like, "Hey, South Fullerton, you know, they speed towards the stops. We need something there." So, speed bump, right? You would think that would solve the problem. What's the problem with speed bumps? Well, when you go over it, it makes a noise. So everybody's going to hear the noise, right? So, you know, there's like, you can suggest one thing, but it's going to annoy someone else. And, you know, so what's the solution, right? So maybe. Sorry.
I'm wondering, does everybody know that CBS has moved to the times when they're closing on the 29th of September, versus the end of the year?
Which one?
So is there anything that you have planned that or you know, that's in it, think about what can be replaced for people to be serviced in this area?
I mean, that's not something that the council can't really make the determination as to what business can really go into it, because that building is owned by, yeah. Excuse me?
Is that gonna be another pathmark issue? Replacement, you know,
No.
replacement of the services?
No, I get where you're going with that, but you know that building has a landlord, right? And the landlord determines who's going to occupy that space. So, you know, we can make suggestions, but they don't have to listen to us.
I just wanted to know if going back to the paving and the Belgian block,
Cross Street?
Cross Street.
Mm-hmm.
So same thing, we've been, we had the Belgian block, they said they were coming to pave, it's been almost a year now. Is there a schedule? Did you see it?
I did see a schedule. Cross Street is not on the schedule for 2024. I did not see a schedule for 2025 yet. I'll look into and see if they developed the schedule for 2025.
When the Belgian block, they supposedly was supposed to be the Belgian block and then the paving, which made sense.
Two different contracts.
Two different contracts.
We've been waiting for 2 years,
Right,
maybe 3.
same thing, yeah.
You're on Roosevelt?
No,
Union.
Same
You're on
thing.
Union. I was on Cross Street Sunday night with my daughter because we were walking around looking at the flooding, and I saw, I don't know whose house this was in front of, there were like a bunch of leaves and stuff in front of the sewer, so we kicked them to the side, and my daughter grabbed the garbage and stuff like that, so, yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing with the overnight parking. Our streets don't get swept. The only time it's been swept in the last 6 months is when the town administrator put up signs saying no parking for 12 hours.
Yeah, I want to see Cross Street, we don't get.
So there's only 15 streets in the town where you can park overnight with a permit. Now, if people are parking, well, no, well,
Different permits. You have individual permits for each street, yes, those are the ones you're talking about. There are other permits where you get for, it's called the town-wide permit. You can park on any street you want to in front of any house. So those are the permits that 2 South Willow Street uses the most, and they park anywhere they can. And South Willow Street has so many people parking on there overnight, sometimes the whole street is filled up.
I'll have to look at that because when I read the ordinance, there's only 15 streets that you can park on overnight, and that's with a permit. Now, people have been parking on the streets overnight just because there wasn't enforcement at that time, but now there is enforcement.
Go to the website,
Mhm.
you can get a permit for a week, I think, or something like that.
Well, that's temporary parking.
But if people get them for a week at a time and they keep renewing them, and since now they are all digital based on your license plate, the residents can't go by and be like, well, do you have a permit or don't you? There's nothing visible that a resident can say, oh, this guy's out here again, I'm illegally parked. No, that's all done by license plate, which is a great system, but residents can't double check that parking utility is out there doing their job. Previously, when the police department did it, it's like, call at 2 a.m., hey, we have 7 cars out here, can you please send them by? They spent 3 hours during some of the nights of COVID writing tickets for 2 hours at a time because there were so many people illegally parked.
Well, I'll look into that particular issue with the abuse of the temporary overnight parking, right?
It's not abuse.
Well, you're only allowed to park, you're only supposed to get the overnight parking, and I don't know, because I've read this ordinance, because I've been getting peppered with emails about overnight parking. You're only allowed to get a temporary overnight parking for, I think, maybe a period up to 90 days, but there has to be renovations or something going along with it, some sort of rationale for it. So if
Where are the people supposed to park? 2 South Willow Street, the garage is too expensive. That was a town lot before this company came over and took it over. It's ridiculous that they're charging so much for their residents and people on the street who
it's a private lot. No?
It was town property.
I know, but it's a private lot.
Yeah, but I believe in their agreement, which it should have been, it's supposed to be open to the public. There's spots that are open, and they're supposed to have them available for that venue. And the other ironic thing is, that bottom portion floods, as I understand.
I have a great one. Is it Officer Higgins?
Yes.
If you could listen to this, so, we live, everybody knows what we live now. During events, we've called the police several times.
You need events at Belmont.
At the
or
Belmont.
11. Okay.
Yep. A couple of gentlemen show up with bright yellow vests and are scamming people to park in the Plymouth lot, taking their cash, giving them big slips.
Seriously?
Yes, and letting them park unbeknownst to the
Permit
victims.
holders.
Right, well, no, they're not giving them permits, they're giving them fake slips with jackets. My husband and I can see this happening every time there's an event, where our balcony hangs over, we watch these folks, we call the police, and we were told, unless we're the victims, not to bother with the police, because we're not the ones being victimized by
Really?
these scams. It happens every time there's an event, and as soon as they see people coming and like asking them, we question them, they grab, they grab their money, they get in the car, and they scurry
Yes.
away.
Larceny, isn't it? Grand larceny? Because
Right
so much
in
money.
front, we've called the Wellmont doesn't care because it's not on their property. It's the township property, we've called many times, they're scamming every single time. We've given car descriptions of the gentlemen that are doing it, they're different every time, but it happens every time there's a show.
Wow.
Yellow vests pretending like they're parking attendants. And specifically this lot, I don't think they're doing it at the one by Bangs because it's too small. If you want, we can take video next time and submit it, but, you know, it's unfortunate because this town is amazing, people come here to have a good time. One of the people we asked, what did you just pay to get scammed? It was like $30. To park in a lot that you can't park in by fake people who are not parking your cars.
That's more than what the town charges for this one.
Yeah. So, I thank you for the reminder, but, yeah, it's specifically this lot, because it's right behind the Wellmont.
I mean, the parking garages are supposed to be open to the public, even though it's private.
Well, what's
property,
happening is
because
they're flagging
they-
people down.
No, I'm talking about over in South Willow, to South Willow, that's supposed to be open. They have a guard in there with the door down saying, no, we're full. Unless you're a resident and you have a monthly permit, you cannot park here. Really? You should see empty spots according to the sign, open up the door, let people in. If they don't park right, then you take care of it. You have a towing company, probably contract it out, get them in here and start yanking cars. That'll teach people to be respectful. Otherwise, if the police know, you don't get any respect from town if you're in a car and you go out.
I want to get some more questions.
Yeah, there's a cable from the utility
I
company.
know, I saw your email. I saw your
Okay.
email.
All right, thank you.
Wheel parking in Montclair is a huge issue on so many levels. Going back to you mentioned committees and advisory boards, I'm aware that there used to be a parking advisory board, I'm not sure what the campaign was, that was dismantled. Are there any plans, again, this is, I feel like a huge issue, but it's going to take a village and, you know.
So there's a mobility committee, and it's going to deal with parking and things beyond that, right? But it's a committee, and it's only for the council members. Now, there are other opportunities for people to, and actually, this is a good segue. If you go on the town website, I know everybody doesn't go on the town website, there are opportunities if you want to volunteer to go on certain task force and things of that nature. I see there's a lot of passionate people in here that have a lot more information about certain things than I do. So we could utilize your knowledge here if you have the energy for. Yeah, young lady.
I do think that, I understand that there was a
an advisory board. But, you know, we're definitely going to, as we figure out what the priorities should be for this committee, because I know there are a lot of, you know, I'm hearing a lot of things about overnight parking and lack of utility of the parking lots, things like that. We'll definitely need resident feedback. I mean, that's the only way that we're going to be able to, you know, try to come up with some good resolutions. So.
Almost an incentive for parking utility to come by and issue a ticket. I mean, other towns mark curbs yellow. If it's marked yellow, it's much clearer and say, oh, you're supposed to know it's 25 feet from a stop sign. How about from a driveway? How far are you supposed to be away? Little white lines like this?
Oh, yeah.
No one knows what that is.
4 feet away. I took yellow spray paint and I sprayed.
Yeah, I did that, and then I got in
know I'm not
trouble.
supposed to do that,
You know
but
what,
I
the
did
town
it.
came by.
And my neighbors.
The town came by and said, you can't do that. Code
You could
enforcement.
arrest any,
Maybe later, after the meeting.
As opposed to coming out.
Yeah, I just want to say that in the interest of looking at the bigger picture, okay, some of us have been here a long time. My little quiet little street is not a quiet little street anymore. When I was walking over here, I just watched the cars streaming up Portland Place. Everybody's looking for parking. They're looking for parking because they want to go to restaurants. So we have great restaurants. Walking over here, a lot of people having a great time. You know, it is, as you said, it is a beautiful place to live. But since I've been here, and we have more development in this ward than any other ward in town. Okay, so far, the Sienna, the Crescent parking deck, the Orange Road parking deck, Valley and Blue, 2 buildings, Wellmont parking deck, the whole Wellmont development, MC Hotel.
What's that new one next to it?
And then there's more development on Orange Road that's going on right now. The Orange Road parking deck, did I say that? Then Church Street, next to the Unitarian Church. That used to be surface parking with a beautiful tree. So I think it's really helpful for us to look at the bigger picture, not your administration. We're going back several. And I just feel, me personally, that since this, I call it the frenzy, the development frenzy, has started, there's more emphasis on Montclair being a destination city than it is for residents. I pay a lot of taxes for my little house, I don't know, but that's the feeling, and I know I'm not the only one who's feeling that.
The infrastructure is not sustainable.
No, right, and a lot of the homes on Portland Place that used to be, and I probably told you this, thank you for coming to the block party in July, but a lot of these homes, they used to be one-family homes, and they've been chopped up, high-end apartments, a lot of rent, and where do these people park? Because only every third house has a driveway. So that exacerbates the parking issue. And I know, I've probably told you this before, but. Oh, and then there's gonna be another development supposedly, we don't know what's gonna happen to the Leach building yet. The Leach building is between Portland Place and Valley and Bloomfield Avenue.
Is that a building needed redevelopment?
Well, in 2016, Portland Place Neighborhood Association we were able to abort a development that was being proposed by Pinnacle, which was going to be apartments, a parking deck, and four stories of self-storage above the parking deck, which was 7 stories, and nobody found that out but me. And I'm not obviously in court. It's like, wait, this is 7 stories.
Randy, just one second. So, no, well, I mean, this is what this is for, but we do have time constraints, and I don't want to keep taking. Robert has been working very hard and, you know, not getting much sleep, so I don't want to put pressure on her to keep this venue open. All of you have my contact info. You know, we're going to do this often.
Can you do it again soon?
Well, I don't know how, I mean, soon is subjective. I'm thinking quarterly, right?
But maybe without an agenda from others,
Right.
just talk.
Right. I mean, this is, thank you for that. That's some of the feedback. I just didn't want to come in here and just, you know, I wanted to give you information, and it seems like some of you got some information, right? So next time, if everyone wants, we can just have it open and you can, but you don't have to wait for the town hall. You don't have to wait for the town council meeting, you know, shoot me an email. I mean, you don't have to wait for these things.
I
Just
heard
encourage
you
them.
have a daughter.
I have 4 daughters.
4
I
daughters.
have 4 daughters.
So you run 4 daughters, I'm sure you have a regular day job.
Yes, and I'm on a plane just about every week.
So, you know, it's a lot. And you do with that.
Yeah. That's my wife right there. She'll lend me out. See, people actually listen to me, right? I know. I'm going to do these more often just so people can connect. So I agree with everything you're saying, and you know, one of the things that we want to do is South Willows and other areas will adjust the parking here, and nobody needs to park there. It's because it's cheaper to park on a street that is in that. So what we want to do, no, but I think it's cheaper to park on the street than it is today, right? But eventually, if we want people to park in the day, what we're going to have to do is make street parking more expensive to make them go into the day, right? So, I mean, this thing, and I definitely feel what you're saying in terms of development. And who doesn't, when I moved here, I take my bike and go to Pathmark, have my basket there, get my stuff and come back. And, you know, I missed that. That was one of the reasons why we chose our house where we did. So I definitely feel that in terms of taxing vacant properties and things like that, I asked about that. You can't tax them more for having it vacant.
Not necessarily vacant.
So this is how they change it.
It's the zoning, maybe it's zoning, asking for certain businesses to come in and things of that nature, but that's something that we'd have to work with, and President David was, not the more, but that's something that we have to work and, but that said, we'll do this again, thank you everybody for coming.